You're listening to the Music Business Breakthrough Podcast with me, your host, Grammy-nominated artist and certified trauma-informed success coach, Cheryl B. Engelhardt. Today, we're going to talk about the ever-confusing topic of branding. And what does that mean for a musician? And how do we manage all of our different projects under one brand? We're going to dive into this. The first piece of advice that I have for artists when it comes to branding is don't get stuck on it. Do what feels aligned for you. Go back to identifying your commitment statement. If you didn't listen to that episode, it's a good one. And then bring that into every choice that you have to make. The second thing is to know your ideal fan. Now, this feels like we want to say, it's everyone in the world. I want everyone to hear my music. But I promise you, and I know you've heard this before, but it is so much better to niche down, get small and specific. You've heard me say that before too, with your ideal fan. This means that if you had a room of 10,000 clones of one person, that every single person would download your music, share your music with their friends, come to your concerts, buy everything that you have to offer. Who is that super fan? What do they look like? Where did they go to school? What's their age? What's their relationship status? What are they interested in? What colors do they like? This person is your ideal fan. And spoiler alert, it is not likely you. We often think that we are our own best fan. I know 100% that I am not my ideal fan. I am just not. But that doesn't mean that I can't create something for my ideal fan. So what I would do is I would write a paragraph about this person and I would give them a name. My ideal fan's name is Molly. And when I get stuck with a decision, I think, what would Molly like? If I could go either way and I'm not compromising my own values and commitment, then I make the decision based on what I think my ideal fan would like. Now, I'd like you to picture two circles. One circle over here is you, your values, your likes, your interests, your commitment statement, everything that makes you, you is in this circle. Then there's this other circle that overlaps a little bit with your circle. And this is your ideal fans, values, likes, tastes, and everything. And now here's the thing. They're not completely overlapped. They don't need to be the same person. Your fan is not you. There is enough overlap in your values, your likes, and your tastes that you become aligned and you attract in those fans. Branding is the cross-section between your likes and values and your ideal fans' likes and values. You may be asking, well, how do I figure out who my ideal fan is and how to know what their likes and values are? And this is easier said than done, but it takes a little research. Go find artists that are similar to you. Similar, not exactly like you. And don't say, oh, no artist is similar to me. That's not true. Just go ask a couple of friends, what artists do you remind them of? And they'll give you the answer. Go look up those artists and then look at their social media accounts. See who is commenting, who is engaged, who is really positive, who comes back, and then click on those people's accounts and see what they're up to. Are they dog lovers? Do they live in the city? Are they going on beach vacations? Are they mountain climbers? Like, figure out what the fans of other musicians similar to you are doing, because there's a good chance that they could also become a fan of you. One question I get a lot is, what about different projects? Or what if I'm pivoting my music? Like, I had a chill out sort of electronic beat project, and then I am now doing more healing frequency music. Here's the thing. When people become a fan of you, they actually become a fan of you. In this day and age, people are seeing you before they're hearing you, most likely, 9 times out of 10. So when you start to attract your fans in, they're getting attracted to you, the person. So if you do a pivot like that, they're not going to care. People listen to a lot of different music. You listen to several different kinds of music, right? It's so silly for us to assume that if we're going to pivot a little bit in our music style, that we have to completely rebrand, get a new artist name, create a new Instagram account. All of that is ridiculous. And I see a lot of artists doing it, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to manage multiple personas, and it's exhausting to manage multiple social media accounts. So just avoid doing it. I can speak to this. I had 4 records out that were pop singer-songwriter. And then I did a new age project. It did really, really well, hit number 1 on all sorts of charts. And then I decided I really like creating this kind of music. I bring a little pop into what I do, but it's really a pivot for me. And I was so terrified that my fans were going to be like, peace, I'm out. And they were like, cool, what do we need to do now? And they're like, oh, I listen to this in the morning, or my kid loves this at night to go to sleep to. I'm really resonating with this, because people listen to a lot of different music and they have become fans of you, the person. So I did the pivot. The only thing I was concerned about is, am I confusing the algorithms like Spotify, where people were finding me for pop and now I've gone into new age? And you can help train the algorithm. There's a lot of ways to do that. I'm not going to get into that in this episode. But again, you don't need to create an entire different persona just for that. Get really good at curating and working with playlisters, and it's not going to matter. People are going to find you, and then they're going to get to dig deep because you have a little bit of longevity to your career. Brand new things are popping up every day. The longer you're around, the more weight that gives you and the more authority it gives you as an artist. So don't throw that away just because you think a little pivot is going to freak out your fans. I promise you, it is not. So don't stress yourself out about having to completely rebrand with every new project, new album, or new pivot in your musical style. Stick with you. And yeah, it's totally fine to have a different look, a different album. I used to redo my entire website every new album cover I came out with, because I was like, oh, it's a new look. Everything has to be about this album cover. Now I just look at it like an art gallery, and like, here, the art gallery, this is the brand of the art gallery. And these particular paintings are what we get to look at. So that's how I treat my albums now. Yes, there are consistencies. I tend to go on the bluer, purpler, cooler sides. The font for my name has been the same for maybe 7 albums now. There are small things that are really familiar, that are on brand for me, that I like to keep in place. The idea is that you keep those little threads throughout and you change them when you need to, but find what is true for you and what you really love, and then turn that into your brand. But be mindful of what your ideal fan is expecting. What I mean by expecting is, for example, I worked with a musician who had this website. It was so super cool. The music was so super cool, but everything on the website was like flowery and pink. But I listened to the music and it was like gothic, kind of like Evanescence, like dark rock. And the website, while it was beautiful, I was like, I feel like I'm about to experience like a classical pastoral type of piece of music. And then when I played this, it's like not aligned with what we know the genre to be. And I was like, how do you feel about shifting it a little bit? The music's really dark. What about shifting colors to dark? And she's like, oh, I love black. And I was like, all right, let's have more highlights of the pink that was everywhere, and do a little bit more black. And it turned out to be such a great thing for her. She felt so aligned, and then the music felt aligned with her and felt aligned with the experience on the website, the user experience. And so that was more clarifying for her fans. Anyone that found her website was like, I understand what I'm going to get before I even press play. And that's what you want. Again, you want it to be aligned with you, your fans, and your music. So when you have that alignment, and go back to the commitment episode, it's aligned with your commitment, you are just going to explode your fan growth, because people are just going to find you and feel that alignment. Alignment is very, very attractive when it comes to fan growth. I have a lot more branding tips and tricks inside the free app, Releaseify. Go download it today.